Hi there, this is Rodney. Thanks for clicking on my video. This is going to be a pretty quick response to MacGyver GG and his situation with this gambling thing he's doing. I don't know if he's going to post it as a video response or not, but I'm going to go ahead and give it out, and we'll see what happens. Um, I started watching your videos whenever you did that. I think it was a 15-minute video on your life, and I thought that was very interesting, and so I subscribed to you. But as I continue to watch your videos, I really don't care that much for your videos. I don't think they're entertaining, and they're for a particular crowd, and I'm not part of the crowd which appreciates them. I don't think it's a good idea to be doing prank phone calls. I don't want people calling me and using me as a vehicle for their supposed comedy and a big laugh out of that. It might be funny for some 15-year-old, but it's not funny to me. So on this situation with you losing your money, well, maybe instead of maybe you can put it on your calendar as the luckiest day of your life. You've done it twice, so it's going to happen again unless you do something about it. So, but the bottom line is you're addicted to gambling. So you need to find some gambling anonymous program and get in there and start telling your problems to some people that have the exact same problems as you do, rather than getting on here and talking about how you're gonna start going to with these high schools and telling everybody about your life and all this kind of crap. You need to get your own life together first. Physician, heal thyself. Nonsense. Oh, that's a little harsh. Oh, you're really a little harsh on MacGyver GG. Well, MacGyver GG's his little kick right now. There was a story of this guy is going down the road. He's a farmer back in the 30s. So he sees this guy plowing his field out there with a mule. So he goes, says, "Man, that's the hardest working mule I think I've ever seen. I'd like to buy your mule." The guy says, "Well, I'll sell you the mule." So he gave him the money, bought the mule. Next morning he gets up, "Boy, I got this new mule, boy. We're gonna really plow up a storm." So the guy hooks up the mule. It's out there in the field. The mule won't do anything, won't work, won't do anything. The guy says, "Well, this is the same mule." So the guy goes back to the guy he bought the mule from and said, "I hooked up the mule. The mule won't do anything." The guy says, "Okay, I'll go over and take a look at it." So he goes over there. He notices this guy's got an axe handle with him. So the guy walks up to the mule and hits the mule in the head with an axe handle as hard as he can, almost knocked the mule down. The guy goes, "Whoa, whoa, whoa! I didn't want you to kill the mule. I just wanted to tell me what's going on with the mule." And the guy says, "Well, I wasn't hitting the mule to kill him. I was hitting the mule to get his attention." Now, somebody needs to get your attention there, MacGyver GG. Here you are in the middle of this situation, this terrible situation, which I totally understand. I was in a situation once. I was never as bright as you are. I could barely get out of high school. But I was in the jewelry manufacturing business when I was in my 20s. So I knew a little bit about gold and silver business. So one day when I was living in Los Angeles, the price of silver was about $350. So I called up the broker. And I bought options on silver. I made like $2,500 in 1 week. And then that's the first time I ever dealt with brokers. So all of a sudden I started getting these phone calls, and now all of a sudden I'm in sugar and soybeans and all this other crap I don't know anything about, and I lost like $8,000. I didn't know anything about what I was doing. I knew a little bit about silver and gold, but I didn't know anything about this. So once you understand that you're dealing in something that you really don't know anything about, once you understand that you're in a rigged game, it's incumbent on you not to get involved with something you don't understand, and it's incumbent on you not to get involved in a rigged game. They don't pay the light bill on those casinos because everybody walks out there a winner. The reason the casinos are so fancy and so big and bright and everything is because they're paid for by losers. You paid the light bill for that place for a month or something. One guy. So you need to get yourself into treatment. And you need to to calm down on the situation about how you're going to share all of this with everybody, which is a great thing that you've done it here so that we can start this little dialogue on trying to get you to a situation where you're conscious, because you're not really conscious right now. You're kind of into it. Because if you're thinking about how you're going to help others by telling your story, well, what's the conclusion of the story? Well, how have you changed? Well, I'm still gambling and I'm still losing my money. No, you gotta get a handle on this before you start sharing your story, because, well, that's just the way it's got to be. I realize that this is not a very probably not a very coherent video that I'm putting out, because I didn't, I don't script this stuff. I just start talking, and my mind is actually somewhere else because I've got to go and take care of some business today. But I wanted to send you a quick little video on this to tell you, hey man, that it's going to be okay, but you got to face this demon. And when you're up to your neck in alligators, don't think about draining the swamp. Think about how you're going to get away from the alligators. And then when you get away from the alligators, then you can drain the swamp or do whatever you got to do. So I wish you the best of luck, man, and pray about it. Because let me tell you, man, you ain't going to do this on your own. This is Hello Rodney. Thanks for watching. Bye.